Our final learning module, Forging Strong Ties with Business, features Kathy Funston, Director of Strategic Partnerships and Pathways at School District 191 in Burnsville, Minnesota. In her role, Kathy is charged with nurturing relationships with local companies so that they will provide myriad real-world opportunities for the 2,500 students at Burnsville High School. A few years ago, Burnsville had just a couple dozen relationships with local businesses, typical of a school its size. Then it adopted a Pathways model, a series of classes that students can take to help them follow their interests and prepare for further study, training, or work opportunities within a specific career field. As Education Week put it in a recent article, Burnsville has gone from a place where the bachelor's degree shaped everyone's thinking to a campus focused on helping all students find a career field that excites them, whether it leads to a four-year degree or not. A big part of this shift has stemmed from Kathy's efforts to reach out to the business community in a supercharged way and get local companies deeply involved in what's happening at the school. The result, Burnsville High School now has more than 200 active relationships with area companies. They've offered internships for students and externships for teachers, job shadowing experiences, visits by executives and workers to the classroom, mentor relationships, the hiring of recent graduates, and more. They've also made $1.3 million in donations to help the school buy state-of-the-art equipment. How did she do it? Well, as you'll hear from Kathy, you don't need to be an administrator with the word partnerships in your title to build bridges with industry. There is plenty for every classroom teacher to do. Once again, if you'd like to dig a little deeper into this topic, please note that additional material is available as part of our resource library. You can click ahead via the main menu and use this added content to help you answer the relevant application questions with even more insight, or you can simply explore it later as you wish.
So I've been in education for about 25 years, and in those 25 years in a multiple of districts in multiple states, I've always dabbled with Carl Perkins, career and technical education, articulation agreements, and then making those connections for our businesses, for our teachers, and for our students to think about how does learning translate into real-world application. At that point when I took this role, there were probably about 20 or 30 kind of one-time partnership type opportunities going on. Because of my role and the task that I was given to really create those bridges between programs and the businesses, and to create those opportunities for extended learning, authentic learning for both teachers and students, that number really exploded. This is my full-time job. It really is all about building relationships. And so some of the things that I can talk about that teachers can do, it's still about building relationships. And when I started, it was really a blank slate. So where do I go from there? So the first thing I did is I got the Chamber of Commerce book for all three of our communities, and I started looking at all of the businesses that we have in the community. And then started creating opportunities to invite businesses into the schools. Businesses traditionally will not come into a school unless they're invited for a specific reason. Most business people might go to a school, whether it's in our community or the community in which they live, because they're going with their children for a teacher-parent conference. But they don't understand the learning that's going on in the building while it's actually going on unless they're coming to see that specifically. So that invitation is really important. We did a series of events for all of our career fields, targeting those professions, bringing them into the school and into our community, answering as many questions as we possibly could, and asking them what they need. Finding out what they need to help their business be stronger, and what we can do to support them in doing that. Right in our backyard here, I can see right down the hill is the international headquarters for Bosch Communications. So, you know, Did I know that that's what they did? No. I knew that there was a Bosch company there. I thought it might be just a little satellite. I had no idea that they do all of that. And they have supported us tremendously. We created a relationship with them. We asked if we could come and see what they do. We've invited them in. It's primarily engineering there, so it's perfect for what we're trying to do here. We have an aerospace program also. And they do all of the communication systems for airplanes. So that was a great connection. Through that connection, they started offering us grants through their community fund. They do site visits. The engineers come over and help the students in this space. And we never would have known exactly who they are and what they do and how they want to be a part of helping that next generation of student explore the engineering world to see, is this something that I'm interested in? Do I like it? And could Bosch be a future employer? Most CTE programs, especially if a district is receiving Carl Perkins funds, a requirement is that a CTE program has an advisory of industry professionals. And so we receive Perkins funds. Our programs have advisories, and these advisories have been the advisories that were established many, many, many years ago, especially if you have veteran teachers. The advisories keep coming to the meetings, and sometimes, certainly that's wonderful that you have a committed advisory panel, and at the same time, sometimes you can become a little complacent in your thinking because you're always talking to the same people. So one of the things that we've asked of our CTE teachers is your advisory person, the next advisory meeting, they are responsible for finding 2 colleagues in different businesses but within the same industry, or at least industry field, and then bring them to that next advisory. So now we've got, a lot more people sitting around the table. We don't want it unmanageable, but at the same time, we want that breadth and depth of thinking to really help our teacher with these thought leaders in the industry to think of things differently, to maybe think about new industry trends that are coming from some of these other advisors that may not be coming from the same advisor that's been coming to the program. We're able at a district level to organize teacher externships for our teachers, but I firmly believe that even a teacher that might not have someone in my position or might not have a very large business base in their community, they can still do this. Relationships are absolutely key, and I cannot stress that enough. Building relationships, keeping relationships, and nourishing those relationships. And so a teacher can call up a business. If our automotive instructor would like to kind of get a little bit more up to date on what's going on, calling up one of our local partners and say, you know what, I would love to come over and spend a day with you. I'd like to see your service department, your parts department, your technical department, your sales department. Are there some people there that I can talk to in each of these departments so that I can get a better feel of how your industry is working, some of the challenges that you might be facing right now, and then some of the ways that I can help my students who are interested in this industry be better prepared for going into that field. I haven't run across a business yet that says, no. An example that I can give is we had a family STEM night. So we had a group of girls and we're trying to build up our females in our engineering programs. This past year we had a group of girls who were incredibly engaged, and they created a Women in STEM program. So they are the ones who put on the STEM family night. We invited all of our elementary schools and middle schools to come to the high school, so they were able to access this space. They were accessing the space out in the commons area. The students were actually leading the activities with the students, so it was very planned, but our business community was invited as well to help support our students with our families. So families coming in see students, businesses. We also had our community college partner with us on this as well. So they see all of these folks coming together to help support learning in this area, and especially for any families who might be thinking, and we know that families still are primary influencers on students' choices for their futures after high school. When our families can see, wow, look at this career trajectory. We work with our workforce centers as well. We partner with them, and so they give us really fabulous data for our community. And then we work with our business partners to say, you know what, this is the data that we have from the workforce center. How does that correspond with your business? So kind of do that checks and balances. This is real, this one not so much. They give us that reality check on our data, and then we give those data sheets to our teachers. So our teachers are armed with that information. So as they're talking to their students about the aerospace industry, well, guess what? There are 12 different types of positions going from a 2-year technical to a graduate degree position available for you. And then these are the different opportunities you have to get there. Anytime we're doing a project, we make sure that we very publicly thank the partners that have been a part of this. We just finished a teacher externship, so the 5 businesses that offered the externships to our teachers, our funding source, and the Chamber of Commerce were all very publicly thanked at a school board meeting and on any publications that we had. We regularly invite the press into, because these are cool programs. CTE programs are some of the coolest programs in the building, but they're not always visible programs. So creating family nights and inviting businesses into the school. Newspapers love that. They love seeing the business community standing side by side with the student working on a very tangible type project. And they will come and cover it. So inviting people in, sending your things out, things that you're doing that you think, oh, I've been doing this project for years. You haven't thought much about it anymore, but you know what? It's a cool project. Send it to your communications department in your school district and ask them to send it out. Make sure your program is visible, and when you're doing that, always make sure that you've got one of your industry partners with you as well. They like the publicity. It's important to them as well, and it's important for us to thank our business community for everything that they are doing for us, and they're doing a lot. Say thank you often, and one, obviously it's so easy just to shoot off a quick email of thanks to someone. We've taken the stance that nothing can replace a personal handwritten thank you. So either the teacher, myself, or our students write those personal thank yous. And again, I just kind of circling all the way back again, it's really about relationships. And those personal thank yous go a long way in building, keeping, and sustaining those relationships with your business community.